and welcome to my channel. I hate doing intros. I wish I could just get into it, but it seems that the standard is high. Welcome back to my channel. My name is, so we'll stick with it. Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Fifi. I am a twin mom, a radio broadcaster, as well as a natural hair enthusiast. What do you think of my hair today? I'm not too happy with how it came out, but you know what? We're just gonna rock and flow. We're gonna go with it because there's no time to fix the hair. So welcome to my channel. Thank you so much for subscribing, and thank you so much for giving this channel an opportunity, giving this content a chance. We are almost at 1,000 subscribers, and I'm truly hoping that this can be the video that sets us over the edge. This can be the video that gets us monetized. This can be the video that connects us to a whole host of many other individuals. Nigeria, in the UK, in Kenya, I see you. I think I also had viewers from Pakistan at some point when I was going through my analytics, but thank you all, one and all, for being here. And to my ladies, I see you as well. Let's keep pushing, let us keep growing and supporting other upcoming content creators. So today I really wanted to be in a good mood. I really wanted to finally record this video when I was feeling, you need to feel good, right? So Andre Director and his boys, CEO of Eskom, which is our power supply company entity here in South Africa, have really messed up my week. Last week I was ready to record the video. Yesterday I thought I was ready up until load shedding and all of these things, but today is the day. Let me tell you about how I gave birth to my twins, Tebang Litsebiso. Let's get into it. So let's probably pick up from around my 3rd trimester, which stretched over Christmas and New Year's Eve. And that's how I spent my, holidays. I was heavily pregnant, very uncomfortable, and just about ready to get these two very lovable individuals out of my body. They had to go. I was serving them notice, and as I said, I was living for 37 weeks. This was when my doctors and I, found it was the best time to, give birth to the babies, and it was a scheduled C-section. So fast forward to December, I had my second last checkup, in which my doctor informed me, look, if you feel anything, if anything goes wrong, you let me know. And he was also quite strict over my travel plans for that December. I thought I would maybe have an opportunity to quickly go home for December, see my mom, see my sisters and my niece, but he was quite adamant that you need to sit still. He also reassured me that he wouldn't be going away on holiday and he would be there at the drop of a hat should anything happen. So we sat still, had our quiet December, quiet New Year's, and we were just, preparing for the 20th of January. That was when my C-section was scheduled for. In January, a week before, I think it was exactly a week, the Wednesday before or so, I went in and we had the final checkup with the twins. Funny enough, during that checkup, the nurse realized that I had not gone for my 3D scan, and she decided, oh my goodness, no, it's totally covered, I think in your insurance or something, and the fee at the gynecologist, you sort of have one free 3D scan. And so we did it, and that was the first time I got to see their faces. Because think of it, when you're pregnant the whole time, you never get to see their faces. You always think, you always wonder, but for me, there wasn't a picture I could piece together. These were two totally new human beings, a splicing and dicing of DNA, a combination of mom and dad. What on earth would they look like? And seeing their faces was just mind-blowing. One of the babies, I could tell, held such a strong resemblance to my late father, and that got me choked up and emotional. Throughout the pregnancy, we never let anyone know what the genders of the babies were. They didn't know if we were having 2 girls, 2 boys, a boy and a girl. They didn't know. It was like our secret just to hold on to. We couldn't hold on to the fact that we're having twins because everyone had to prepare for 2 babies. I think that would be the ultimate shocker. But what we decided to do was just to have a secret between the 2 of us and the doctor's office, right? So only we knew. My mother pressed me. My sisters pressed me, my friends pressed me, everyone wanted to know what were the genders of the babies. And I didn't have a gender reveal party, I didn't have a baby shower, so truly the day that they were born was the only time that everyone was going to find out what I was having, just as a surprise. And I got to see their faces, right, to the 3D scan, and I could see that my little boy looks like my father. There were features there. I was just like, Lord, what are you doing to me right now? But it was wonderful. Fast forward to the week of giving birth to the twins. I was preparing. My mother and niece, managed to drive down. I believe it was a day before. The timelines were so close. Remember, during COVID, it was, difficult to travel, but at this time, regulations had been relaxed. But it was, I don't know what was up with that week. A lot of things were happening. Loose ends had to be tied up before they could reach me. So they arrive, I'm here with my partner, everything is hunky-dory, we're good. I'm just super uncomfortable and now getting super nervous about the actual birthing process, about the C-section. I had never had any major surgery before. So the morning of, we wake up. I don't think I ate that morning. No, you can't eat. So the last meal I had was either lunch or dinner the day before. So we wake up on the 20th of January, early in the morning. I had to be there around 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. So obviously, naturally, I was up early because I couldn't sleep comfortably anyway. Everything was packed, the outfits for the babies, what they'd wear at the hospital, what they wear coming back home, little hats, little beanies, little socks, all sorts of cute things. I, of course, had packed my bag, comfortable pajamas. We'll get into that. I'm still going to release a video for what you should pack if you are having a C-section in a South African hospital. So everything was ready. I had everything, comfy slippers, shoes, bras. It was time to go. And we prayed that morning, hugged and kissed my family members, and Daddy and I were off to the hospital. What was sad about it was that my mother could not be there. I really truly had hoped for a birthing experience where my loved ones could be around me and supporting me in this life-altering moment, right? Those, especially for my sisters and my mother, those who had seen me go from baby to woman, right? And now a woman giving birth. I really wanted that moment, but unfortunately we could only have one person in the hospital room with me and one person in the operating room. Naturally, that's gonna be Dad, like her. Of course it was going to be my partner, of course it was going to be the twins' dad. And off we went into the car and drove to the hospital. It's not too far from where I stay. And upon arrival, it was quite easy. A lot of the paperwork, booking the bed and all of that, I had done beforehand. So whatever paperwork I needed to sign that day, I believe it was just paperwork to say that I have arrived and I'm here for a scheduled C-section, this is my doctor, this is who I am, those details. Right. Get there, and it was quite odd. As soon as we arrived and checked in and signed in, I was given that horrendous green, what do they call it? Not an apron, ibizwan, but that thing, the hospital gown. I was given that immediately to wear. So I was like, whoa, okay, this is moving along, quite quickly. I think we had to be there 7 a.m. because the C-section was 8 a.m. or did we leave at 6 a.m.? It was really early, but somewhere around 7 and 8, the C-section was scheduled for. I would be one of the first in the morning, and the way the doctor explained it to me was, just to, get everything out of the way. You are a high-risk pregnancy, you are giving birth to twins, and, we just want to make sure the heavy lifting of the day is done early while everyone is still fresh. Okay, cool, sharp, no problem. So we get to the hospital, I'm shown into my room. Booking a private room was quite expensive, but I really wanted that. But I got there and there was another mommy there. She had given birth, I think, the day before. So the curtains were still drawn, so just, got into the room, got settled. It was kind of like, hey, across the window, good morning. It was quite early, so we weren't too loud. I didn't have headphones, which was something so terrible. We couldn't listen to the TV. I needed a distraction from what was about to happen in a few minutes. So I get settled in, put my bag down. I had already changed into my gown, and the nurse came in to put in the IV. I believe it was on my left hand. I will insert pictures, of course, throughout. On my left hand, that's fine. I'm not afraid of needles. I donate blood, all of that good stuff. And yeah, got me hooked up to an IV, and we were just waiting. It's a flurry of nurses coming in and out, asking me, for documents, asking me for this, asking me for that, And, eventually they told me that your doctor is a little bit delayed. He's currently in the OR. There's something going down, right? To cut a long story short, remember we were supposed to be operated on around 8 a.m., in the morning? We only got to the OR at 11. That was when they were ready for me. So it seems that within the maternity ward on that day, there was a woman who had complications, and there was an emergency C-section added to the roster. So I was unfortunately bumped or pushed down to the end of the list, and we had to wait it out because they wanted to make sure that she's okay. I wasn't complicating, nothing was hectic on my side, and thank God I did not even have, preeclampsia. So they were like, you're fine, you will wait. I just really wanted to go. I was like, okay, clearly you guys are busy, clearly I'm still okay. Can I come back tomorrow instead of being in a hospital? Being uncomfortable. It's a new surrounding, it's different, it smells like sterile medicine and sanitizer and all of this. I just wanted to go home and be comfortable and just spend a little bit more time with my mother. So I was so annoyed. I was getting hungry. I was super duper hungry, and he was naturally nervous for me and for the babies. We know that at times not every mother makes it out of the birthing process, and not every baby makes it out of the birthing process. So I feel that was his concern, and he went silent. Like, I lost him. He was not there. I was like, okay, mentally, girl, you are here. Let's thug it through. This thing is happening. So we get wheeled into the OR. We get prepped and all of that. He is taken to the section where he had to go put on his scrubs, and I was just outside the operating room. I could hear they were finishing up with another mom. When she came out, she was seated and holding her little bundle of joy and just smiling and just like in awe, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's about to be me in a few minutes. And it was just amazing. The hospital staff, very cool, calm and collected, jokes. I had met my anesthesiologist. He came to me while I was still in the room waiting. I had to sign paperwork for that as well. And reading through it was quite weird, you have to give your weight and your height and things of that nature so that he knows how much medicine to pump into you. He explained how he would be doing the epidural, inserting the medicine and all of that. I believe it's inserted through a catheter. Yes, something like that. So yeah, everyone was really friendly. It was a great birthing experience. Like, I started to feel comfortable around these, medical professionals, the nurses, the doctors. Everyone was just on par. Now I'm waiting. He comes back. He's in his scrubs. I'm like, OMG, it is happening. It is happening. And whew, my Lord, at that moment, then I wanted to go back into the room, right, where we were. where the monitors had been placed over my belly, where we were just quietly watching SABC2 or something. I can't even remember what was there, but they had the 2 monitors on my belly to hear each baby's heartbeat. Every so few minutes there'd be a nurse coming in to check if we were all right, to come check the sheet, that log sheet as well, that has the baby's heart rates and all of that. At that moment outside of the OR, I was like, no, let's go back to waiting. I was fine with waiting. That's okay. But I didn't express it. I was just, quietly going through it in my mind. Brother man had gone mute. He was like refusing to talk to me really, because he was just worried and concerned. And I was like, you know what? This is not helping. You might as well go home. If you're not going to talk to me and keep me distracted or something, go home. But he snapped out of it once we got into the OR. I was wheeled in, transferred onto the operating table, like they do in the movies, like everyone lifted, heave, ho, ha! It was just so weird finally being the one to experience it. I watch a lot of medical shows, medical dramas, docus. It's interesting. The medical field is very interesting to me. So transferred onto the bed, and then what had to happen was that it was time for my epidural. So what you do is that he tells you, I think there was a nurse standing in front of me to help, you sort of have to hunch over as much as you can, right? So you hunched over in order to form a curve in your spine. So that provides access. So at first it was I think like a general numbing medicine that was applied, or injected rather, not applied, and that was fine, normal needle. And then you can sort of feel that catheter being inserted. It's not a painful feeling. I don't think I have a terribly high pain tolerance. I hate being in pain, I hate being uncomfortable, but certain things you must thug it out, and this was one of the things. And you sort of feel that pressure. You can feel like something is being inserted, but you can't really feel the pain because you've been numbed. And then he told me to keep absolutely still, and before I knew it, he was like, okay, all done, tell me how you're feeling. And immediately from my lower back into my buttocks, I could feel my ass get warm, like it was getting hot. I was like, ooh, this is the good stuff, like what is that? And he said, okay, quickly swing around. And the nurses and the doctors quickly helped me put my legs together and swing onto the bed and finally lay down. All right, getting hooked up, more IV things are being changed around me, and that's when he did the sort of numbness test. He had a very cold scalpel or medical utensil, right, steel, and it was really cool. The OR was also cool as well, but this thing was cold. And he put it, I think, on my cheek, and he said, can you feel that? Is it hot or cold? I said, that's cold. Around my shoulder somewhere, and I was like, it's cold. He went a little bit lower towards my breast area. I was like, it's cold. And towards my belly, I could feel the object on me, but it was warm. I was like, ah. And so it begins. This is how it goes down. And I believe he just went lower and lower onto my body up until my toes, and I was like, I can feel it, but it feels warm. It's not cold. It's like, all right, great. And the doctor then told me, okay, I'm just going to insert a catheter in you because, I mean, you're about to have your abdominals sliced. You won't be able to go to the bathroom anytime soon. So they insert a what is it? Is it a catheter? What's the thing, man? The little bag that you wee in. That thing. I'll find the name. And that was inserted, and I could just feel some pressure in my vaginal area, but you can't feel it because you are numb from underneath your breasts to your toes. And so we're chatting, they had some music playing. I think it was like a Now 40 CD. There was a lot of Westlife. There was a lot of, like old school classics playing. So I'm like humming along. Maggie is here, my partner. He's on my right side. He's holding my hand. He's talking to me. And we're just like, can't believe it, can't believe it, can't believe it. It's happening, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening, it's happening. And at some point, I thought they would announce that they're starting, but I could hear the suction, you know, that. I was like, they have cut. It has begun. I was like, wait. Well, I didn't say wait, but I was just like, oh, have you started? And he was like, yes. He's like, no, we don't tell you. My gynecologist. He said, oh no, we don't tell you when we started. Some people freak out. And you guys, I could not feel a darn thing. You don't feel the sharpness of the blade if your epidural is, you know, applied correctly and all of you don't feel that at all. And it was just so surreal. It was an amazing experience being the one operated on. I always wonder what it feels like. And I was awake, I was vivid, I was okay. We're chatting. My anesthesiologist is chatting to me. How do you feel? I'm like, no, I'm good. I'll let you know if anything is uncomfortable or whatever. And at that time, they're cutting, they're slicing through. And remember, for a C-section, there are quite a lot of layers that you need to get through, right? Eventually, until you get to the uterus. And at this point, twin A, who was Tebiso, my boy, twin A, he was twin A from the beginning of the pregnancy up until his sister usurped him within the last trimester. I want to say the week before, or the last two appointments, she then became twin A. So the way it's decided initially is which baby is closest to the uterus, that not the uterus, the vaginal canal, which means that will be the baby who is most likely to be born first in a vaginal birth. I suppose in a C-section as well. So Tebang then overtook her brother and she became twin A, and she was born first. Now I have my little card here because I can never remember these details, but their dad is the one who always does. Look at that little foot, how adorable. So Princess Tebang came into the world at 11:50 on the 20th of January 2021, right? Weighing a whopping 2.2 kilograms and with an APGAR score of 9 out of 10, right? How adorable. And they gave us these little cards, and these were the markers because the babies weren't named yet. We had the names for the babies, but I suppose it's just what the hospital does. You know, maybe I should have given them their names. And then twin B, who had been A all along until his sister said, nah, bro, I'm in charge. Tepiso was born at 11:52, so they are 2 minutes apart. He came in at a whopping 2.4 kilograms, and until this day, he remains the heavier twin. What that feeling felt like? Tugging. At some point there was, you know, some tugging. So I'm moving, I'm shaking a little bit, but this is what he told me to expect. I still cannot feel anything, but I'm sure these people were like elbows deep in my body, which is the strangest thing. And you just feel something sort of releasing, coming out, and then they held her up and they said, hey, happy birthday. And I was just like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. And there she was, covered in goop and blood and screaming with a beautiful head of hair, screaming and uncomfortable and just like, what on earth just happened? You guys have disturbed me. I've been chilling, I've been resting in mom's belly all this time. Libomang Huetsala. And she was out, and they held her up over the sheet because they placed a sheet so that I could not see the guts and the gore and them cutting into me and the bloody utensils and all of that. And wow, and then she was born and she was there. I was like, okay, one down, one more to go. And a few minutes later, a little bit of at this time, Maggie had been whisked away. They said, Dad, we're gonna call you, and when we call you, you better run, you better come ready with your camera. So we left the big DSLR because it's clunky and a lot to work out. and we just had our phones, and you know, he was snapping, he's taking videos, he's doing the most, and cutting the cord as well. So I was very happy that he got to do that for the babies. 2 minutes later, tugging, moving, ooh, 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 ay, ew. And out came Trimester, and they showed me him, and he looked a little bit taller, a little bit less hair, he looked grumpums, he had those cheeks as well, but he wasn't crying. Okay, Tapanga's over there in the corner being worked on. Trimester's being ushered into his own corner with his own team as well. And I didn't hear him crying for a little bit. So they said, oh, he's okay, he's fine. And then I think it was my doctor, and he said, come on, Ella, or something like that. And eventually he started crying. It was the pediatrician, one of the doctors. There were so many people in that room for the lower half of my body to be exposed and naked. Oh my gosh. Did I tell you that a nurse had to come in and shave me? I wasn't sure if I was supposed to come and shave. I had read somewhere online that you shouldn't shave in case you cut yourself and it causes an infection or something. So I didn't shave. It was a decent bush, but I didn't shave. And you know, that lady had to shave me. She looked annoyed. She looked annoyed. They don't do the whole thing. They just go by the bikini line where the incision will be made. But yeah, I don't think she was having a great day. Having to shave a pregnant woman's wow. But anyway, so Trimester cried, and I was reassured that he's okay. And Dad went over, cut the cord, taking pictures. And at that moment, they brought the twins around for me to see, and I cried. I cried. The pictures from the OR are so embarrassing because I'm just like lying down, I'm this mass of weight, my legs are numb, I probably am a little bit loopy from what just happened. My brain was trying to, you know, get it all together, and there was a lovely, I think it was an intern doctor, someone who said, oh, let me take a picture for you guys. Like, they know what to do. They know what is sort of socially expected of them. It's not in their job spec, but they understand this is a very special moment for mom and dad and for an entire family, you know? And they took the pictures. I had tears in my eyes. I was just emotional. A lot was going on. And eventually, then they started closing, and they told me, okay, at this point, Miss Matsila, we are closing up. So they're stitching away, they're doing whatever. Hand me this, nurse, give me a 2410 and a 1924. I don't know. But they're doing what they do, and it was quick. In total, the birthing experience was about 40 minutes, right? Before I knew it, I was being transferred onto a bed that I could roll out of the operating room with, and now I get to hold the babies. Did I hold them coming out of the OR? I did. I think I did. Yeah, I did. A huge part of me was concerned that them being born at 37 weeks and being multiples or twins was that their lungs would have been underdeveloped. I thought perhaps this would be the time where I give birth and then I see my babies the next day because they had to go to ICU or NICU and, you know, be placed on oxygen, and all sorts of tests had to be performed. But they were great. They were great. According to their APGAR's test, Trimester was a 9 out of 10. And what an APGAR's is, I wanted to share that with you, is basically a quick test that they do when babies are born. So according to Medline Plus online, I'll attach the link. It says APGAR is a quick test performed on a baby at 1 and 5 minutes after birth. The 1 minute score determines how well the baby tolerated the birthing process. The 5 minute score tells the health worker how well the baby is doing outside of the mother's womb. So, in rare cases, the test will be done 10 minutes after birth. So what they look out for, the doctor, the midwife, or the nurse looks at the baby's breathing effort, heart rate, muscle tone, reflexes, and skin tone. So I'd like to think the twins aced their very first test in life. Can you imagine, as soon as you're born, you are faced with a test and you are given a score, you are graded already. Oh my goodness. So we're wheeled out and we get to the room, and immediately before, I thought I'd be able to have a cup of coffee. They brought me water that I could drink. My bed was already set up with a linen saver and all of that. And I got to the room and we got to settle in. Now they're going, forms, Home Affairs forms for your birth certificate. Fill them in now so that when the Home Affairs people leave today, you can have your birth registered and have the birth certificates by the time you leave the hospital. So Dad is busy, scribbling, trying to put those together. We're trying to give each other's details. We're trying to also bond and come into this moment. The nurses come in and they said, all right, let's show you how to tandem feed and let's get this breastfeeding journey started. And the babies were placed, on my belly. They helped me, disrobe and helped me position the babies and the pillows. And there we were tandem feeding for the very first time. Did it hurt? Yes, it did. It felt weird to have it was a sensation, man. It was weird, slightly painful. So I can see how so many women maybe are discouraged from the jump, but at my hospital with my doctor, breastfeeding is number one. They encourage it, they try it. They also wanted to see how my supply is. I believe in the morning while we were waiting, one of the nurses asked me if I had any colostrum leaking, and I said no, I've read about it, I know what to watch out for, and I've had nothing come out. And she was like, okay, no problem, no worries, we'll see once the babies got here. And I got to breastfeed them for a while, and at some point they were taken away. I think this was later on in the evening. The events, the timeline of events is just, there's so much to share. They were taken away later on in order to test their glucose levels to see if there was anything coming out, because I was asking the nurses, how can I tell that they're getting anything? And they said, oh no, don't worry about that, we will test them and then we'll guide you and we'll help you accordingly. During that time where COVID was still around and the numbers were quite high, they were strict on how long the dads got to stay. So Maggie only stayed, I want to say, an hour and a half to 2 hours, and that was because there was a nurse who kind of did us a favor. She kind of drew the sheets and said, listen Dad, usually they only give you about an hour or so, but I'm gonna let it slide and let you see that she's okay and that your kids are okay as well. And we just spend that time looking at the babies in shock, in awe. I was starving. I think I got a meal only later on that afternoon. Maybe I ate around 3 o'clock. We were done by, what time? The babies were born 11:50, 11:52. I think by 1 o'clock I was done breastfeeding, all of that, and just can I get a meal? Can I get something to eat, please? And you got to stay for a little bit, and it was lovely. It was truly amazing. I did not have any visitors at the hospital because regulations were still very strict within the country as well as within the hospital. I had no visitors. We stayed 3 days in the hospital, no visitors, no nothing, which for me, in hindsight, was the best thing that could have possibly happened. It gave me one-on-one time with my babies. It gave me military boot camp into motherhood, into what a breastfeeding schedule would look like. So the nurses would bring the babies around the clock. I think it was about every hour, every 2 hours, or if they couldn't sleep, they would wake me up in the middle of the night. And that was the best thing because it gave me a precision, it gave me knowledge, it gave me information, being able to chat to a lactation consultant as well. There was a physiotherapist who came in, all sorts of individuals coming through to check the baby's hearing and things of that nature. But it prepared me for what it is that I need to do within these first initial weeks of life. Shock therapy, shock culture, absolutely. It was bam. But it was important that I had no external distractions, that I wasn't exhausted from entertaining visitors and people. I got very comfortable in the rhythm with the nurses bringing the babies, and at some point I would take walks around the ward, pushing gently their strollers. Let me tell you what's crazy about a C-section. They make you stand about 7 to 8 hours, I think, after your procedure, or whenever, right? They make you stand the same day. Let me just put it like that. I was mind blown. So before my doctor left for the evening, he came around. He said, all right, Dumelang, congratulations. The babies are good. You are good. I will see you tomorrow morning. The nurses will take care of you. They're going to give you a shot of this for the pain. Please take your meds on time. Da da da. Eat, hydrate. And then tonight, please walk. You're going to stand and you're going to walk. I was like, Njani, bro, how? Drunk. How? And he explained, no, you'll be fine. You're going to be absolutely fine to walk. And in my mind, I was just thinking, you have just sliced me open. You, now with those hands of yours and that. Now you want me to walk? What kind of abuse is this? What kind of system is this? And true as day, later on that evening, there was a boisterous, jolly nurse who came through. And, she said, all right, darling, tonight we're going to walk. You're going to get up. You're going to walk, you're going to shower, you're going to change, you're going to put on your own pajamas or give you another gown. I think there's something along those lines. And yeah, we're going to walk. So she put some medicine in the IV and she said, once this bag is done, I'm going to place, I'm going to put your bag on a counter where you can reach it. Remember, there's no bending over, there's no picking up heavy objects, nothing heavier than your baby. In fact, ideally, your baby should be handed to you. You shouldn't, initially in that stage. And true as day, I finished a cup of tea and this bag of medicine, the IV was done. She came in, she lowered the bed completely, pulled the sheets back, and that's when I saw they kind of just put a pad there and then you're also on a linen saver. I was like, holy crap, this is a lot of blood. But remember, naturally, your uterus needs to get rid of that blood, and it will get rid of it through your birth canal, your vaginal canal, as per usual. So it wasn't blood from the incision, but blood from, the uterus. It's contracting. I've started breastfeeding. Your body knows now, okay, no more babies, so let's wrap this factory up. It starts and establishes a factory at the beginning of your pregnancy, and then it can quickly wrap one up. Let me see how I'm doing for time. I need to get to work and finish the story. Okay, we're still good. So they do that, and she said, okay, I'm going to help you move your leg one at a time to the edge of your bed. You're going to need to sit up, and then I'm going to hold you, and I want you to push down, base yourself, put your feet as flat as you can on the floor, and you're going to stand. At some point throughout the day, I'd felt the medicine wear off. I wasn't in pain, but I could just tell, okay, this is leaving my system, and I was getting that sensation back in my feet, right? And now it was fully back, I could feel my legs. So I was like, okay, I guess I can do this. And I put my legs down, and I held on to her. She supported me both elbows, and she said, all right, we're gonna push up slowly, and then try straighten out as much as you can. That was the weirdest sensation, because I felt like I was doubled over. I was hunched over as if they had stitched me too tight, but that wasn't the case at all. Just the sensation of it was like, whoa, okay, that's weird. You don't stretch crazy and do a back bend. No, you're just straightening out so that you can walk. But to be very honest with you, that night I was walking like an old granny, like an old woman. And she helped me. She switched on the shower. She said, all right, show me what you want into the shower. My body washes, my loofah, my this, my skincare, da da da. And she got the bathroom set up for me, and she said, all right, I need you to wash your body. There was still a sort of clear plastic what covering the incision. She said, just wash as much as you can and call me when you need help. And she left, and I got into the shower, and I was like, oh my god, I'm in a shower. I just had surgery. I just had babies pulled out of me a few hours ago, and here I am taking a shower. But it's best, they say, and it improves your healing. You must walk. after a C-section. I'm not sure about a vaginal birth, but I would like to think the principle still applies as well. Just get active, get moving. You see how important movement is for our lives? Exactly. So I walked around a little bit, I got dressed, I had to ring the bell in order to help put on the underwear. And she came through and she helped me put a new maternity pad in there, helped me shimmy up my underwear, got into my jammies, and let me tell you, that was the best feeling. I felt fresh. And she said, all right, now we're gonna walk back to the bed, and you know, this is how you need to go about your business. And eventually, I think before I had to walk the catheter, is it the catheter? What is it? The wee bag was removed. And I got back to my bed, and yeah, that was it. I could walk around, you know, I could eat, my appetite was back, I felt fine. They would bring the babies like clockwork in order, you know, to spend time with them. They'd leave them in my room. If I wanted the babies taken to the nursery, I could call the nurses and they would do that for me. They would wake me up in the middle of the night to say, hey, babies are crying, time to breastfeed. And I was like, whoa, shit. But it was amazing. It was good. By the end of the 3 days, I was absolutely ready to go home. The doctor came in, the pediatrician came in to do checkups, show me what to do with the babies, and it was very good. I felt supported. There was a lot of knowledge that was shared. My answers, my questions were answered, and it was just a really positive birthing experience. The C-section for me was not hellish. We can talk about that healing process in another video. I fear this one might be getting too long. But yeah, we went home. 3 days later, he came to pick us up. Putting them in the baby car seats made me very uncomfortable. I thought they would break. I was like, these things are too clunky. They're too big for my babies. But we absolutely bought the correct size. But when I just thought of putting my little wrapped up bundles in there, I was like, oh my Lord, this is a lot. This is a lot. And we went home. And coming back, seeing my mother and my niece here, being back with my partner, I was happy. I was like, okay, we did it. Thankful for my health. Thankful for having such a wonderful team of medical professionals around me. Thankful for the grace, the attitude of positivity. I believe that was a huge thing that carried me throughout this pregnancy. I just had manifested, number one, the twins. I had manifested a positive birthing experience as well. I got scared, I got nervous a little, you know, here and there. I did my best to take care of myself and to take care of my babies, and I think, you know, ultimately, and a stroke of luck, because things happen, hey, things happen. But I'm very aware and I'm very happy that I had a blessed, positive birthing experience. Mommies, you can do it. Your babies will be here in no time, and before you know it, there will be toddlers tearing your house down. My name is Fifi. Thank you so much for reaching the end of this convoluted story, but we made it. I want to see if there's anything that I left out. No, that's it. Yeah, that's about it. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you will stay and you will continue to enjoy the content on this channel. There's a whole lot more coming your way. Comment down below on what more you would like to hear about. I'm open to sharing most experiences with you. And once again, thank you for the consistent love. Subscribe. There are quite a few people that are watching and not subscribing. What are you waiting for, sis? What are you waiting for? Please do subscribe and comment, and always leave some love down below. Mwah.